I'm going to talk about what we did. And the idea is that first time I actually bought a book on specification grading. I was totally terrified by the enormity of the task, so I didn't even try it. And then they started it here at UCI, and I started looking, maybe I can do something. And I have a very good support group because I have hundreds of students. So I have graders, I have TAs, but it's actually undergraduate graders that are my biggest support because I choose them. And so I chose 4 most enthusiastic ones. And I discuss everything with them, what is doable, what is not doable, how they can handle it, and what they cannot handle. So we decided that this quarter, we don't have enough support to go full specification grading. So we are going to implement some of the things. And I'll show you, I'll share my screen, and I'll just show you what I'm doing in my course. And we are working on going full specification grading in the fall. But by that time, we will already know which things did not work out this quarter, so we'll be able to make changes. I'm not the person who always teaches the same course. I always make changes. So, and I'm glad to have feedback from all my helpers. So I started actually with learning objectives for ICS long ago, because I thought students need to know what they need to learn, why they need to learn it. But after seeing what Robert Talbert did and other people, I started thinking how to use it for bundles and to show students what they need to do. So we are not using bundles yet, but we did put up a bundle, what people need to know in order to get a D in this course, a C. And as we are working on the homework, we are making some changes here. You may notice that sometimes we cross something out, sometimes we add something. And when we create a homework, and I want to show you what we do. So one of the things that we introduced in this course, we allow students to do redos, and they have to pay for them with perks. And I heard in one of the discussions of specification grading, I heard someone saying that instead of saying tokens, he uses the word perks. And I thought that it was cute, and students must like perks. So we are giving perks, and I'll show you what we give them for and how we use them. But the idea is that for every problem we assign, we give the mandatory one that will be used for redo. There are also optional problems. I discovered long ago that some of my students need more practice, some need less practice, and to make all of them happy, I have probably as many optional problems as I do mandatory ones. So those who want more practice will open the solutions to all of them, and they can get that practice. And I want you to see here, we are marking which objectives each corresponding problem covers. So when I create my homeworks and then I discuss them with my helpers, and sometimes we create them together, and we always say, okay, did we cover all the objectives? Did we cover some objective too much? We want it minimally useful and then optional to give people more practice, but we want to make sure that everything is covered in the homework. So this is from our discussion on specification grading in Slack, how we do that. And now I'd like to show you a few things that we do in my syllabus. So in my syllabus, in the grading and assignment portion, we are talking about perks, and we just mentioned them here, but then we have a whole page that is actually devoted to perks. And so this describes how they can earn perks and what they can use them for. And so we allow up to 24 hours extension, which is worth a perk. And then every problem, actually, you have to pay with a perk for it. But in my course, it's very easy to earn perks because I have tons of practice videos for them. And practice videos, they don't get points for them. This is just giving them problems to work on. And then they need to give it a try and then see how I do it. So that gives them extra practice. So a lot of students won't need that, but if they're not doing well, if they want to redo something, then definitely this is something that can help. Another way to earn perks is to come to office hours, and you can earn up to 1 perk a week that way. And the goal is when we have tons of office hours, I have lots of helpers in my course, and very few students take advantage of them. And of course, those are usually the strongest students and students who really need help. Making them kind of convincing them to take this first step and see that this is actually something useful. That's the goal of this perk. And there are other ways, but we may redo them next quarter when we're figuring out our pluses and minuses, because right now bundles just say A, B, C, D, and we're not using them this quarter. But we still need to figure out what pluses and minuses will do. And so, as you can see in our summary of the week, we have the redo, we have everything available. This was actually an idea of one of my helpers to make summaries for each week so that students know what they need to do and what's available to them. Resource page, students often miss it, so now it's in every summary. And these are the practice problems. And I always ask my helpers how we should handle things and what they can do, what they cannot do. So one of the questions was, I have practice problems in almost every week, and we give them that week to earn perks. So if they did not do practice problems in a week for which these problems are given, they can't earn perks. They can go back and do them still, but they can't earn perks. And that was the decision made by my helpers, but I have plenty of practice for them. So I actually ran a quest for them at the second class where they had some questions about syllabus, and two of those questions were on perks. And the question was how many perks you can earn in weeks 2 and 3, and the answer was 11. So it's really large, but I looked, and so we'll see in the end how many of them take advantage of it. But I can see right now that, for example, reduce about less than 10% take advantage of that, even though we allow them reduce on credit. We say, even if you don't have perks right now, you can still do redo, and then you can earn your perks, but in the end, we'll go and we'll revert your credit if you didn't earn the perks you used. So that was the idea for 2 reasons. One is in our week 3, it's probably the most difficult one. And so they may want to redo the whole assignment, and therefore they may need a lot of perks. And on the other hand, we did not want them to feel like, now that the assignments are easier, I don't need to do those practice videos, I don't need to do things, because I no longer can use those perks usefully. So we wanted them to always have an incentive. If they need help, to get that help. So that's what we are doing right now, and we are trying to figure out how to implement the whole thing in the fall. So I came here looking for ideas from my fellow teachers. So that would be grand.